All right. So once again, good evening, all of you. Let us start with the session where we are doing kinematics one by one. We'll be discussing different questions. We'll be continuing from the topic where we had left in the morning. So try recalling. Today morning, we were studying about a specific two-dimensional motion. Right, where we had read that velocity is u, this is theta. So please jot down the equation of, this motion over here, right? Equation of the trajectory, give a heading, equation of the trajectory. Right, so the equation of trajectory is given as, write it down, is given as y is equal to, everyone, have you drawn the diagram? Please draw the diagram first. Y is equal to x tan theta times of 1 minus x by r. Y is equal to x tan theta times of 1 minus x by r. This is the equation of a trajectory of a ground to ground projectile. Very important. Ground to ground projectile. Right? Now, let us see in the morning session where we had left some questions depending upon the same concept and some new concepts over here. So everyone, let us take some questions with in this regard from the past years. So here I go. Right, you are given in the question that a particle is projected from the ground. Maybe I'll write this question here. A particle is projected from the ground such that its trajectory is given by 2x minus 9x square, 2x minus 9x square. Again, this is the question from JEE 2019, right? And it is said that, let's say if the particle was launched at the angle theta and if its velocity was u, find out the value of u and theta. See, just one equation and we can find out almost everything about this motion. How will you do this? So have a look. You will compare this given equation with the equation which we already know. Here, this is the equation which we all know, that y is equal to x tan theta times of 1 minus x by r. So try seeing, can you bring the given equation y is equal to 2x minus 9x square in the similar format as this, right? Try doing this. So we will have over here, I'll just write it down, y is equal to 2x minus 9x square, right? Let's take from this 2x common. So we will have 1 minus 9x square upon 2x. Am I correct? Right? Now, see, this form becomes very similar to the one which is given in the formula over here. See, we have 1 minus 9 by 2x. Correct? Now, try comparing the terms. See, 2x times of 1 minus x by 2 by 9. Correct? So using this, you will have tan theta is equal to 2, right? And r is equal to 2 by 9. R is equal to 2 by 9, correct? Now, how will you find out u and theta? See, I'll give you the options also. You are given with options. The theta is equal to sine inverse of 1 by root 5 or sine inverse of 2 by root 5 or theta is equal to cos inverse of 1 by root 5 or sine inverse of 2 by root 5, right? So you have first options given for theta. How will you select, how will you find out the value of theta if the value of tan theta is given in terms of, so how are you going to find out theta in terms of sine inverse or cos inverse when you have actually theta given in terms of tan inverse? Can anyone try telling? Harsh, wanna give a try? Yes, Harsh. So we have 12 of you. Yes, Siddharth, tell me. What is the question, class? I'll repeat it again for everybody's convenience. We are getting tan theta is equal to 2, right? You can see here, we are getting tan theta is equal to 2. But I'm saying that you have to find out theta in terms of tan inverse, sine inverse, cos inverse. How do you do it? That is the question. Yes, Siddharth, tell me. Okay. Okay, I think the mics are mute. I'll try. All right. Yeah. I've unmuted you all. Yes, Siddharth, go ahead.
Sir, maybe we can take a triangle, because we know that tan inverse is opposite divided by, I mean, tan is opposite divided by adjacent.
Absolutely
So
correct. Absolutely correct. So all we are going to do is make a triangle. Class, this is a very important technique, which is going to help you often to calculate other sine or cos when you have been given with tan values, right? So class is if let's do a quick test. One of the students is not being able to hear me, so let us do a quick test. I would want you all to help me with this, so please raise your hand if my voice is clear to you and if the board is very clearly audible to you. Please raise your hands if my voice is clearly audible to you and if you can see the board clearly, both. Please raise your hand. Okay, so I can see that out of 12 of you, or 10, or yeah, 12 of you, or let's say 11 of you, 10 have raised hand. Okay, Harsh, I assume that perhaps there is some technical issue at your end, maybe with the mic or the internet connection. See if you can have some working with it. Otherwise, don't worry, I'll be soon uploading some videos. I've already uploaded, the others I'll be uploading at as soon as possible on the YouTube channel where you can refer. Thank you, class. So, as Siddharth said, let us do that.
so we'll consider theta to be one of the
Yes.
elements, and
So, we will take here tan theta is equal to perpendicular by base, right? So we'll take perpendicular as 2 and base as 1. Now this side will be nothing but 2 square plus 1 square under root, which gives me under root of 5. And therefore, I
yes,
have from here, I can find sine theta as well as cos theta, right? So we'll have, is this the way you were trying to tell?
yes, sir.
Right. So we'll have sine theta is equal to perpendicular by hypotenuse, that is 2 by root 5, and cos theta is base by hypotenuse, that is 1 by root 5. Now it is very possible, very much possible to find out theta in terms of sine inverse and cos inverse, right? So see, we have different option given. We have two options saying it as sine inverse of 1 by root 5. Okay, let's see. Sine inverse of 1 by root 5, this is not correct. Sine inverse of 2 by root 5, this, yes, this option is correct. Then cos inverse of 1 by root 5, this is also correct. Then we have sine inverse of 2 by root 5. This is also correct. So out of these questions, all three are correct. Now, along with
Yes, sir.
theta, in the question we have also been asked g. So now your next approach should be to find out what is the value of u, right? So find out u. So you will get u is equal to how? Any idea, Siddharth, in this?
Uh,
What is the
Not
formula
really,
for
sir.
range we had read this morning? Try recalling. 2 times of ux uy by g, right?
Yes, sir.
Now all you have to do is just substitute and you will get the answer. See what all we have got. We have got that tan theta is
We
equal to
have
2. We have sine
yes, sir.
theta is equal to
2 by root 5.
2 by root 5.
Yes, sir.
2 by root 5. We have cos theta is equal to 1 by root 5. We also have the equation and r value that is 2 by
2
9.
by 9.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now we are being told to find out what is u. So let's say we are saying that we know the formula for range, which is 2 times ux uy by g, and let's expand it. So we have 2 times u cos theta u sin theta
U sin
upon
theta upon
g.
G.
Right. Now
Yes, sir.
now that we know this, all we have to do is just substitute the values, right? So instead of
Yes, sir.
r, what you're going to put 2 by 9, right?
2
Is
by 9.
equal to 2 by g, or let's take g as 10, and
Yes.
u is to be found. Cos theta is 1 by root 5, and
1
sin
by root
theta is
5.
2 by root 5, right?
2 by root 5.
Correct.
So
So
shouldn't it be U squared?
sorry.
Shouldn't it be U squared?
Yeah, yeah.
U cos theta times
Yeah,
U
yeah.
sin theta.
It's u square. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So we'll cancel 2 from both sides. We will have
Yes, sir.
let's see, u square is equal to root 5 into root 5, that is 5 into 10 whole by 2 into 9. Just cross check so that
Yes, sir.
have a look. Correct?
I think that's right, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once we have this, all we're going to do is just find out the root of this and get the answer. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So we'll have this as this way. We'll get the answer as u is equal to 5 by 3 meter per second. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? Class, anybody with any doubts, Siddharth, are you clear with what we did?
Yes, sir.
So whenever, class, I'll make it clear for everyone, whenever all of you have been given any equation of the trajectory for a ground to ground projectile, just from that equation you can find out everything what we discussed this morning, right? So try doing it in your homes. For this question, try finding out everything. So let's say when you have been given, let's say for this question, y is equal to 2x minus 9x square, y is equal to 2x minus 9x square. We have found u, we have found theta in terms of all sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse. In a similar fashion, try finding what is r, which we have already done. Try finding what is maximum height, right? So what I'm saying is, in a ground to ground projectile, you can find out all the terms. You can find out all the terms, be it u, theta, r, h max, right? And other values, whichever need be, just from this equation. Am I clear? Also, you can find out what is ux and what is uy. How? Because once you have theta, you also know sine theta and cos theta. You also know u, so you can find out what is u sine theta and what is u cos theta. Right? After this, let us see, let us have another kind of question which also is extremely important. So here I go. It's based on integration. Again, the concept which we have covered recently. So yeah. So here you go. This question is based on a question asked again in JEE 2019. Have a look. The question says a particle is seen moving with velocity k times of y I cap plus x times of j cap, right? Where k is a constant. You're being told write the equation. Write the equation. write the equation. So write the equation for its path. For its path. I will repeat the question. You're being told that a velocity of particle is given as the weights given, that is k times yi cap plus k times of x j cap. Write the equation. See, such seemingly such an easy question, yet seems so challenging. See, we had read this morning what, that whenever you have R, you can find V, and from V you can find out A. Just that, remember that these are vector quantities. So all you need to do is a calculation which should be based on components. So let's say this is Rx I cap plus Ry j cap, and here you have Vx I cap and you have Vy j cap. Similarly, Ax I cap plus Ay j cap. So now when we differentiate this, we get Vx. When we differentiate Vx, we get Ax. If you do the reverse, you will get integral of the respective quantities and thereby the answer. So have a look here. We know that V is always given by Vx I cap plus Vy j cap because it's a vector, right? Vx is x component. So we can see that in the question, Vx is given as y, and in the question, we have Vy given as x. Now, what do you have to do? You have to find the equation, right? How do you find the equation? In order to find the equation, you need to have something in terms of x, y square plus cube is equal to something. Some this type of form you need, right? So let's see, what do we know by Vx? We know that Vx is dx by dt, right? And we know that Vy is dy by dt. See from here, this could be written as y, this could be written as x. So we know that Vx is dx by dt. We know that Vy is dy by dt. In a similar fashion, we also know also class, just give me a second. Yeah, so all you're going to do is write dx by dt is equal to y, and dy by dt is equal to x, correct? So just write down this equation, integrate on both sides the way we did the last time. Dx is equal to y dt, right here dy is equal to x dt, right? Take integration on both sides. This is one way of doing it, right? This is one way of doing it, or you can also do it some other way. See, you can write dt is equal to, from both sides you can get, you have dt from this equation given as dx by y, and from here you will have dt is equal to dy by x, dy by x. So we'll take the two equations we got here, equate them together. So we'll have dx by y is equal to, just have a look, dx by y is equal to dy by x, dy by x. Integrate both sides. Remember what we had told in the morning, integrate both sides. So integrate both sides. This time we'll not take the limits because it's not given in the question in first place, right? So you will have, or maybe you can first group the variables together. As we had told, group the similar variables together. So you can group the similar variables together. Maybe now you can apply integration on both sides, right? So you will have x square by 2 plus, this is y, so you have plus y square by 2. Since we do not know the limits, so here we'll take k. Try recalling, we had told that we had two types of integration, two types. One is definite, the other is indefinite. So we come up with this equation that x square by 2 is equal to y square by 2 plus k, correct? So this is the kind of equation we were looking for. So question little different from the way of questions that we have read this morning, but then again very same, because all we had to do is just find out the equation of the line. So we had to eliminate t, right? Therefore, we took these steps, right? So class, if the question is clear to everyone, please raise your hand. In case you want me to repeat, do not raise your hand, so I'll get to know if there are participants who want me to repeat. So please raise your hand if you are clear with the question. Okay. So in case Atul and Harsh and Pratham, you have anything to ask? Yes, please let me know. Let's start from Pratham. Yes, Pratham. Okay, Pratham is clear. Atul? Yes, Atul, tell me.
Sir, can you repeat once again, sir?
Yeah. And anything in particular, Atul, before I repeat, that you would like me to stress on?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So Atul, in this question, as I told, that you have been given value of v as ky k times of yi cap plus xj cap. So what I've done, I have just compared the known form of velocity or known form of equation with the equation that that which is given in the question. So this comparison gave me that. Actually I think I have not written k here, so maybe you can add the k, right? So using that we got vx is equal to k times of y, vy is equal to k times of x. After getting that, all we have done is equate the equations. I think just a minute, class. Right. So as we know, when we equate these equations, we have dt given as yk by dx, and from another equation we'll have dt is equal to xk upon dy. So what did I do? I wanted to eliminate time. Remember, I want to eliminate time because I need an equation between x and y. So in order to eliminate time, I equated both of these equations. Right? See here, I equated both of them. So I got this expression. Try recalling, I had written that group similar variables together. So we grouped similar variables together, integrated on both sides to get x square by 2 is equal to y square by 2 plus k. Right? Here we had this way the expression given. So you will have an expression given as, you can write x square is equal to y square plus some constant, right? Or you may also write this as y square is equal to x square plus some other constant, let's say k. So there are different ways you can write down the equation, final equation in. Atul, is the point clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So class, this is some important category of question that might be asked in your exam, right? So before I move ahead, there is some important concept I would like to share with all of you. And the concept is given in this pattern. Now, what do we generally think? We just generally think that radius of curvature or radius, what do we mean? Radius, generally we think of radius only when we think of a circle, right? I'll repeat, we think of radius only when we think of a circle. But even in a projectile motion, there is the concept of radius of curvature. I will repeat, even in projectile motion, there is concept of radius of curvature. Many students skip on this, but in several past year papers, there has been an observation that concept of radius of curvature is mostly questions based on the same as asked. So what you're going to do is, in the concept of radius of curvature, suppose you have thrown the particle from the bottom of the ground and again it's coming back to the ground. Let us calculate the radius of curvature at the point A and at the point C. C was the top, B was the ending point. Now, class, I'm telling you a very good fact. Try recalling this fact whenever you are confronted with such questions. Do you all know that in circular motion, there are, especially in uniform circular motion, there is very one important concept, that velocity of the particle, I'll repeat, velocity of the particle is oriented along the tangent, right? Velocity is oriented along the tangent, and there is an acceleration which is called centripetal acceleration, which is oriented along the radius. It is also called radial acceleration, given by v square by r, given by v square by r. So for this particular concept of radius of curvature, I am about to tell you, question will ask you, tell what is the radius of curvature at the starting point. Radius of curvature at the starting point, right? Radius of curvature at the starting point at A. And then you might be asked to find the same at C. So the concept is that this acceleration or centripetal acceleration, which we thought of or which we just understood, AC and V are both perpendicular to each other. I will repeat, AC and V are perpendicular to each other. So what is the kind of acceleration which is acceleration and velocity which is active over here? See, at point A, I'm drawing at point A. We all have already learned that the acceleration due to gravity is working downwards, right? So we have a g over here. Now I want to see what component of g is working in a direction perpendicular to u. Why? Because that is what is going to give me radius of curvature. So I'll split g into two components. One will be just in the direction of u and the other will be perpendicular to u. See, in this manner. We know this angle which u makes with the horizontal is theta, right? So I'll maybe draw this even clearly over here. See, this is horizontal, right? And now I'll draw vertical in order to clarify where G is acting. This is along the vertical. Then I will draw two other directions which will be mutually perpendicular. This is the, let's say this is the direction which U is making with the horizontal, right? The green line. And now making another red line. This red line is telling the direction perpendicular to the green line, right? What each one of is denoting, you will know when I write. So have a look, class, very clearly. Along this green line, U is oriented, right? These two black lines are horizontal and vertical. This is vertical, this is horizontal, right? This red line is the line which is perpendicular to green line, right? Now, what I am doing is, once I understand that in order to find out radius of curvature, the formula is AC is equal to V square by R. So R will be equal to V square by AC. But mark my words, this is that AC which is perpendicular to G. Right here, this is that AC which is perpendicular to V. Right? So here I want to find out what component of G. Class, remember I am saying what component of G is perpendicular to U. See here, I have G acting vertically downwards. I have G acting vertically downwards. See now, I'm writing the angles. U makes an angle theta with the horizontal, correct? Therefore, this angle will be 90 minus theta. Therefore, this will be theta. So now I can take two components of G. One will be along green line, one will be along red line. I will repeat, I want to find out what is the component of G which is perpendicular to U. So I am splitting it across two components, green and red, right? So let us do that here. One component of G is along green line this way, and the other component is along red line this way. Both are perpendicular to each other. See, this one will be G cos theta, right? Whereas this will be G sin theta. We have already read how, right? So now you can see we have one U acting this way, right? And a perpendicular component of acceleration which is acting on it as G cos theta. So existence of perpendicular component of acceleration gives a radius of curvature. Class, I'll repeat, existence of a perpendicular component of acceleration to u, this gives it a radius of curvature, as simple as that, and this r will therefore be given as v square by ac, and v, instead of v square you will write u square over here, and instead of ac you will write g cos theta. Right, I hope it's clear. Now see here at the topmost point, to find the radius of curvature you will see where is the velocity. Velocity is towards right. Class, do you remember today I had made you all right that in the horizontal direction velocity always remains constant. So this velocity is equal to v, ux is equal to vx, or vx is equal to ux, given by u cos theta, right? It does not change at all. What is the direction of acceleration which is acting over here? Coincidentally, acceleration is downwards, and therefore here already velocity and acceleration are perpendicular to each other. Here in the case 1 where I was talking about point A, I had to actually find out what component of acceleration is perpendicular to the velocity, but here in the point C, acceleration and velocity are already perpendicular to each other. So in order to find out radius of curvature at point C, I will just write again v square by AC. V square, instead of v square, I will have u cos theta whole square upon g, right? So you will get u square cos square theta upon g. U square, so pardon me class. So there is some error with my pen. So u square cos square theta upon g. So this is how we found out radius of curvature at A and C. Some students may be tempted to ask that, sir, if there is no circular motion, if the path is parabolic, how come are we talking about radius of curvature? Then I will say that at every point, there is some different radius of curvature. See here, the circle for which radius of curvature is being found out might be something like this. Here, the circle for which radius of curvature is being found out might be something like this. See, over here. So here also we'll have some radius of curvature. So at always along any path, we'll have some radius of curvature. Curvature means at that point, whatever is the curve, had that curve been an arc, I will repeat, had that curve been an arc of a circle, what was the radius of that circle? This is what we are being asked, right? So I hope you all are clear with the concept of radius of curvature. The concept of radius of curvature is very similar to the fact that understanding that at any given point, what is the component of acceleration which is perpendicular to g? You find that simply, as we did here, you find that simply and then substitute in the formula r is equal to v square by a acceleration in order to get the answer, right? I think I have a message from someone. Okay. Yes, Krishna, I hope the concept is clear, right? Now, suppose we want to find out range. So for range, we might have a different formula, right? Class, if the concept is clear, please raise your hand so that we can move to the
Okay,
next.
sir.
Yeah, okay, all right, Krishna. Class, if the concept is clear, please raise your hand so that I'll know that you all are clear with the approach towards finding out radius of curvature. Okay, all right. Thank you, class. You can bring your hands down. So, class, there is one concept which I want to cover for all of you. It's a very beautiful concept. It's based on circular motion. And for this, we have a question which I'll be covering again from JEE Main 2019. So have a look. Have a look. You have been told that what is circular motion? Very quick insight. Circular motion. In circular motion, we will have at every point, the particle will have some velocity which is along the tangent. So some velocity which is along the tangent, let's say v, right? And there is some radius for this, some radius for this circle. So for circular motion, let's say we are talking about uniform circular motion special case. In a uniform circular motion class, there is one thing very particular, always speed is constant. Speed is constant. Note down, velocity is variable and acceleration is also variable. How? I will just tell you. Both are variable. Some students might be tempted into thinking that they are constant, but actually they are not. Why? Because velocity and acceleration are vector quantities, and their values and their directions their magnitudes may be same, but their directions will keep on changing. Let's say we start from here, point A, this is point B, this is point C, this is point D, right? Now, just have a look. Let's say the speed is V naught. What I'm saying, let's say the speed is constant and equal to V naught. So if I define the right direction as X axis and the top direction as Y axis, and I take the unit vectors along them as I cap and J cap, right? Then can somebody tell me what is the velocity of the particle in terms of V naught Ij at VA, right? Monica, would you like to try? Yes. The velocity of the particle at point A. In terms of magnitude, the magnitude is V naught and the direction is towards X axis, therefore I cap, right? Suppose now I talk about B. Can you try with B? What should be the velocity? Velocity at B, if the speed is constant, given the question is given, speed is constant and equal to V naught. Yes.
Sorry.
V naught into the direction is top in the upward direction.
J.
Right?
Yeah, J cap.
You will have J cap. Absolutely correct. How about the velocity at VC or velocity at C? Yeah.
Minus V naught I cap.
Absolutely correct. Why is it minus V naught I cap? Tell me.
Because it is radially outward and negative.
It is tangentially. See, it is along the tangent, right? Not radially. Okay, okay. No worries, no worries. Please take care. No worries. So let's take next question from Harsh. Harsh, can you tell what is the value of velocity at point D using the analogy which we just read? Yes. I think there is. Harsh, are you able to access your mic or are you able to hear me? Okay, no worries, no worries. Let's take the answer from Mahila. Mahila, in case you can hear me, please tell the velocity at BD in terms of V naught Ij. Yes. Velocity at D, point D. It will be equal to, yes.
Hello?
Yes, Mahila, try.
Sir, it's minus V naught J cap.
Minus V naught J cap. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, Harsh. Tell me. Okay, I think your hand is raised. There might be some issue. Okay, class, I hope everyone is correct. How did we find out the value of velocity at different points? Now, how about centripetal acceleration? Centripetal acceleration is velocity which is always acceleration which is always towards the center, right? Suppose this is the center. So how will you find out acceleration at A? Acceleration at A, the magnitude is v square by r, right? So we'll write v naught square by r. And what is the direction? Direction is here, upwards, right? So we'll write j cap. How about acceleration at B over here? It will again be towards center, right? That is acceleration at B is equal to again V naught square by R times of minus I cap, right? Now acceleration at C is equal to acceleration at C is equal to again V naught square by R into minus J cap. Why? Because acceleration is directed towards the center and therefore downwards, right? Towards the center and therefore downwards. Now, how about the point D? Here again, the acceleration, centripetal acceleration is towards the center and given by AD is equal to V naught square by R times of I cap because it's along the positive x-axis. So class, I hope this concept is clear to everyone. Based on this and some one more concept is that in a circular motion, uh, listen to me carefully, in the circular motion, whenever we are talking about whenever we are talking about uniform circular motion and I talk to you about magnitude of change in velocity, it is given by 2v sine theta by 2. Magnitude of change in velocity is given by 2v sine theta by 2. This formula becomes very handy when you're solving a question of the sort which I'm just going to give you all. Class, have a note. Magnitude of change in velocity, because see, the velocity is changing, right? Now let's prove this formula also, right? So let's prove this formula. So class, let's say I want to find out what is the change in velocity as the particle goes from A to B. So I'll take velocity at B minus velocity at A. What do you have? Substitute it from here. See, velocity of B is equal to V naught J cap, right? Minus V naught I cap. What do you get? V naught, take it as common, right? And now I want to find out the magnitude of this change in velocity. So magnitude will be V naught square plus minus of V naught square whole power 1 by 2. That is V naught root 2, right? Now try getting the same thing with this formula. See, what is the change in direction? This VB is VB is in the upward direction. VA is in the rightward direction. The angle between them, make them co-initial, right? So the angle between them is 90 degree, correct? Angle between them, between what? Between VA and VB is 90 degree. So you will have delta V is given as 2 times of constant velocity, that is given as V naught, times of what is the angle between them, VA and VB, it's 90 degree. So we'll substitute here 90 degree by 2. You will get 2 V naught sine 45 degree, which we know is equal to 1 by root 2. So you'll have 2 V naught times of 1 by root 2, that is V naught into root 2 is the magnitude of change in velocity. Remember, this is magnitude of change in velocity. Right? I hope it's clear to everyone. Yes. So class, please make a note of whatever I've written on the board. Once you do, please raise your hand so that we'll move to the next topic. Yes. Right? So, okay. There are some students still who are left to raise hands. Class, please raise hands once you're done writing whatever is on the board. So let me check who are all yet remaining. Okay, I think all are done. Yeah, thank you. You can bring your hands down, class. So this is again one another question from JEE paper 2019. So the paper says, the question says, a particle is moving along a circular path with a constant speed 10 meter per second. There is a circular path along which a particle is moving and the speed is constant and equal to 10 meter per second. It is saying what is the magnitude of, directly the question is asking, what is the magnitude of change in velocity? So the magnitude of change in velocity. So write change in velocity this way and then its magnitude. It is being asked what is the magnitude of change in velocity of the particle when it moves through an angle of 60 degree. When it moves through angle of 60 degree. So it basically means, let's say if the particle was initially over here, okay, if the particle was initially over here, it moved to a position which is at an angle of, suppose theta. So suppose here speed is v naught, speed is again v naught here, but the velocity has changed because the direction has changed, because velocity depends upon both magnitude and direction. Now you will have what, this change in velocity magnitude given as 2v sine theta by 2, right? All you have to do, substitute, and you will get the answer. See, JEE Main sometimes covers such easy questions which are also based upon simple application of the known formulas. So class, please make sure that before your exam, whatever notes you are making right now, or if you have such notes with you, do make sure you take one revision of such notes to get the answer, right? So your answer is 10 meter per second, right? Has everybody written? This is again question from the past year JEE, right? So NEET candidates, please make a note that such questions have a high probability of appearing this year in your examination, right? Such questions have a high probability of appearing this year in your examinations, right? So once you are done, let's take something important. It's called Galileo's law of, it's called as Galileo's law of. Asha class, is there anyone who has any doubts with regard to anything we have discussed until now in class? Please ask. You may raise hand and ask. Okay. So if you are clear, let us take this question. It is this question is based on Galileo's law. Give a heading of odd numbers. So Galileo's law of odd numbers says that if a body is dropped from rest, that is initial velocity 0, from some height, right? Let's say that height is maybe whatever. Whenever it is dropped from some height, the distances which it covers in equal interval of time are, I will repeat, distances. I'll write it here for the sake of convenience. When a body is dropped from rest, from some height, distances covered in equal intervals of time are in the ratio of odd numbers, or in the ratio 1:3:5:7 and so on. I'll explain it. So let's say we take different values of time and distances accordingly, right? So let's say this is first span time t. Then again, let's say after time t, it reached over here. Now let's say once again after time t, it traveled in next time interval t, it traveled this distance. I'll repeat, see what's happening. In the first t seconds, the ball reached from this point until over here, right? Let's say this was point A, so it reached point B. Then after t seconds, it reached over here, right? That is, let's say at point C. Now, again after t seconds, the ball reached over here. That is, let's say in the ground. Let's say it was point G. So the ball is taking time of 3t to reach from the point A to the point G on the ground, and we are distributing this into 3 equal time intervals, and we are telling that the heights which I have marked in green, let's say this is h1, And next, let us say this height is h2, and let's say if this height is h3, these are in the ratio h1 is to h2 is to h3, etc. 1 is to 3 is to 5, and so on. A proof of the law is also available, but right now I would want you all to not get stuck with the proof, but rather see uh, how do you apply it in a given question. So just a minute, I'll see if you have a question based on this which can give you right in the moment. Yes. So let's say if you have, let's take a question from maybe a past year NEET exam. So this is a question from NEET 2009,